Hi, so I'm Jenny. I am a coach, an author, and an advocate for parents who are determined to raise emotionally healthy kids after separation and divorce. So you're going to be watching a healing through words. That one there, that one. It's a guide designed to help you your ex without causing emotional fallout for your children. So, whether you're dealing with high conflict co parenting, being misunderstood, or simply trying to stay, this is for you. So, let's dive in and explore how the right words can protect your child's peace and your own. So, today we're going to be talking about the audience, which is chapter 5 in others. Please go back, they're all on my lives. I'm doing them in order 1 through to 5. And mess up my words. That's just me. I am very sorry. That's how I talk. That's who I am. I don't do editing. I just I do, and I don't have the inclination. So there we go. What you get is me. So talking about the hidden audience. So every word that you say, every message that you say, every sigh that you just release in frustration, they're not just for your ex. Your child, they're watching, they're absorbing, even when they don't seem to be. Now, in high conflict co parenting, it's really easy. What happens between the adults is private, but children, especially those caught in the middle, are remarkably perceptive. They hear tones, they notice, they read facial expressions, and they may not understand the full story, but they feel the emotional charge. So, letters. Now, your child is constantly forming beliefs about themselves, love, conflict, and safety based on how you interact. They internalize messages like, oh, if dad's angry at mum, maybe he's angry at me too. Or if mum cries after I did something wrong. With fighting, maybe love always hurts. And children don't need to witness the full argument to feel it. They sense the tension in the room and the sharpness in your voice and the way that your face changes, even if you don't see it yourself, when you're up with a message from your ex. Their brains are wired to tune into these cues because your mood affects their sense of safety. Now, this isn't about walking, it's about recognizing the long shadow that adult conflict can cast over development. Your child doesn't just observe, they become shaped by this. Now, children, they can't articulate. So many children don't have the vocabulary and the language to explain what they're feeling. So their discomfort shows up in different ways. It could be that disturbed sleep. They may have regressive behavior. Their schoolwork, their school backwards. They may be anxious, they may have stomach aches before transitions, they may have they play up when it's transition time, they may become overly compliant, overly anxious and being compliant. And I know in my case, it always took about a day after child back to deprogram, which sounds really bad, basically to kind of get him back into the way that our house operated, which was quiet and calm and loving and kind. He told me that he had to be a different person in his dad's house to fit in. The two were very different. The two houses were very different. The two parents were very different. And it wasn't that I told him that dad's was good. He made his own decision as to what he wanted his life to be like and where he felt the safest. So when that's showing these signs, it's not necessarily bad behavior in emotional barometer. So they are signals that something in their environment is feeling unsafe, or unpredictable and predictable or emotionally charged the co-parenting environment is, the harder it is for children to regulate themselves. So even in homes where a child is not about adult conflict, they pick up on. So they might pick up on the parent's stress at pick-up time. They might pick up on the routine without any explanation. They might pick up on side comments that they overhear on a phone call. And all of that creates an emotional patchwork of understanding that, if not gently clarified, can become the source of self-blame, fear, or internalized anxiety. So we need to shift the narrative. So every communication that you have with your ex, you need to treat as if your child will read it someday. Would you be proud for them to see your tone, your restraint, your choice of words? Narrate conflict healthily when it happens. So if your child witnesses tension, offer simple reassurance, but we're working through it. It's not your fault. And model respectful disagreement. You don't have to fake harmony, but you do need to show that tension equals cruelty. Remember, your child is going to role model your behavior when they're in relationship. Is that what you want for them? Balance the narrative. Avoid speaking negatively about your co-parent in front of your child. Tough questions, then validate without dumping your pain onto them. So it's okay to miss Dad. I know you love him. You can remind them of what's constant. So in those moments of tension or transition, offer predictable affirmations. No matter what happens, both of us love you. And we always had in our house a book called No Matter What. And it was framing, and it was into a crocodile. I'll love you no matter what. Or what if I turned into a grizzly bear? I'll love you no matter the things that this child could turn into. The moral of the story was no matter what. I will love you no matter what. And even now, we still use that phrase, no matter what, because that was a safe way for us to communicate that no matter what. So your child is going to learn how to handle conflict, not just with their ex, not just with their partner, but with their colleagues, with their friends, all kinds of scenarios. And this is how they're going to handle their own relationships later on. If they watch you sex without yelling, express without blame, and repair after rupture without shame, they will carry those skills into. I'm sorry, we've been joined by the cat. She just loves us so much, she has to join in. So this is how you break cycles. The child learns that conflict doesn't have to be maintained. Come here. And it doesn't have to mean, and it means that people can disagree and still stay connected and safe and seen. Perfect. You're going to mess up. We all do. You'll raise your voice. You'll disappear off into the kitchen, and you will then realise that little ears were nearby. And that's okay, because we're all just human and we're all still learning. So what matters most, deal with that slip up. So when you recognise that misstep, you can say something like, I got really upset earlier, that wasn't fair to you. And you can reassure them, you're safe. This is just between the adults. And you can reset, we're going to keep working on doing better. And you can even turn it to, can do better. Because you're teaching your child how to conflict. So when you implement repair, it rebuilds trust, and it teaches your child that that love can hold hard emotions, and that relationships can survive missteps, and that safety comes not from but from consistent care. So your child doesn't need a perfect parent. That's not what they need. They need a present, a regulated parent. They need a parent who shows up even after the hard moments and says, I love you, I've got this, and I'm learning to. And in the next chapter, we'll get into the practical side of communication, how to write texts that de-escalate rather than explode, and how to keep conversations aligned with your values. And I wanted to just tell you that it's okay not to be perfect. I wasn't perfect by any way, shape, or form, and there were things I could well have done better. And I strive now to do better, and I try to help others to not make the mistakes that I made. But if today's reading spoke to you, don't forget to subscribe it and hit the bell so that you don't miss things and real world strategies, and you are not alone in this. I've helped thousands of parents shift the narrative, protect their kids, and regain control of their lives. If you want to go deeper, head over to my website at www.coparentingwithoutconflict, no spaces, just all one word, .com, to explore coaching resources and just for you. So keep attention, and remember, your voice shapes your child's world. Now, I have been a little bit delayed due to some things happening around here that I've needed to deal with in terms of getting behind on my reading. And I'm just about to head off to Egypt for 2 weeks. So I will be doing another reading this week, and then the next reading will be after I come back. Okay, but you can contact me through Co-Parenting Without Conflict. You call me jennyrock1@outlook.com. I'm available. You can talk to me. You can send me a message. You can book a one-on-one conversation with me that doesn't cost anything, that just basically is a discussion on what's your situation, and that's going to be a yes or a no. And then that then kind of puts the ball in your court, whether that's a yes or a no from you. But that's the way it works. Okay. So if you want to speak to me, I've given you the ways to speak to me. And if you've got any questions, please contact me. And I hope that you're finding these little excerpts useful. If you want to, the link that I have put in the this is the book. It's on Amazon now, along with the other two that I have written. The first one is about the divorce process. The second, custody agreements or co-parenting agreements, what things to consider to make sure you don't miss anything, because there's so much to consider that we never even think of. Then you've got this one, and I've also put in there a co-parenting logbook that has defined areas on which to communicate the important stuff, so that you just stick to this. That's all you need to share. That's it. Okay. So any problems, give me a shout, and I look forward to doing the next reading in the next few days. All right, guys, you take care, and I will speak soon.